Ready to go?
One of the most frequent calls I get from clients is we've got this employee, he or she's not working out. Can I fire this person? And the assumption is if you're not a unionized workforce, you don't have a collective bargaining agreement that's governing your relationship with your employees. We're living in an at-will state in Illinois. You can fire somebody just because you don't like the color of their shirt for any reason whatsoever. You don't need to have any sort of set rationale for the termination. That's true. But what I always tell my clients is what I'd like to do is go through a checklist generally of any potential issues that could exist right now and could potentially come up in the course of this termination and the aftermath that might mean you're looking at a longer road with this person involving litigation. The first question I usually ask about are protected classifications. All of the bases for our discrimination laws, state and federal, sex, race, sexual orientation, age, disability, FMLA leave, any of those sorts of factors, have they been an issue in the course of employment? Not necessarily just is this person a woman, but has anything come up about this person's gender that could become an issue upon termination where there is some question raised? Was that a factor in the termination decision? Second, and goes with that first factor, are complaining issues. And this goes towards retaliation. Has this person, whether or not you believe there was any sort of discrimination or discriminatory conduct that occurred in the workplace, has this person complained of such conduct? And it's a very specific form of complaining. Not has this person been complaining about the type of coffee you're serving in the break room or how cold or not cold your air conditioning is, but really truly, is this person complaining about anything that's protected by state or federal law? Corollary to that is the issue of whistleblower protection. Has this person raised any issues about the way you are conducting your business and any ethical or legal issues about that could be interpreted as some sort of retaliation on your part should you make a termination decision? Wage and hour issues. Has this person raised any wage and hour issues with you about being paid overtime or not being paid overtime or not being paid appropriately? If so, is this the only employee who's raised these issues? Are we looking at buying a class-wide lawsuit if you terminate this employee? Have you straightened out all of these sorts of factors? Do you have an employee handbook? Does it include a progressive discipline policy? And if so, did you follow it in the course of this person's employment? Most employee handbooks have a disclaimer that say this is not an employment contract. You still have an at-will relationship. You can terminate for any reason at any time. That's fine. It's always beneficial, though, if you have a progressive discipline policy that says that you're going to give people verbal warning, written warning, second warning, final warning before termination if you've actually followed your own policy. Does this person have an employment contract? Did you, for whatever reason, upon hiring them, give them a contract that governed the terms of their employment? If so, you're bound by that contract. We need to take a look at it, what the terms are, what terms, if any, you included in there about when and if they could be terminated, any payments that you owe them upon termination. Review that contract, figure out what we're working with here. Pair in pair with that is the issue of non-competes and non-solicitations. If you had an employment contract, there's probably a non-compete and non-solicitation clause in there. This is something you as an employer really want to consider upon terminating someone. Do you want to enforce that agreement? Is it enforceable? How far are you willing to go down the road to enforce it? And is there anything you can do upon termination to solidify the enforceability of that agreement? One thing to always consider when terminating an employee, to just buy some finality and peace of mind, is to consider a separation agreement with some sort of severance payment in exchange for a release of all claims. This can go a long way in giving the terminated employee some sort of financial benefit upon leaving and some amount of goodwill, and also buy you the insurance of not having this person turn around and making some sort of employment claim against you. Finally, before you terminate anyone, plan out your termination meeting. When are you going to do it? Are you doing it first thing in the morning or at the end of the day? Where are you going to do it? You want to have some sort of privacy. Who's going to be there? You probably would like 2 people in the room, but not more than that. You don't want to create a stressful situation. And try to not focus on recriminations and blame, but keep everything short, brief, and treat this person with respect and dignity as they're walking out the door, because they're going to remember that meeting and take it with them as they leave.